In this video, we will discuss everything related to insulin. Currently, many social media experts claim that insulin is a harmful hormone that causes weight gain at any cost. Is insulin truly responsible? I'm Vlad, and you are on my channel VI's Nutrition. Let's get started. Before we delve into the topic, let's first understand how food affects blood sugar levels and the role insulin plays in this process. When you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into glucose. This glucose enters the bloodstream and is referred to as blood sugar. The sugar is then delivered to your cells for energy or storage. Insulin is the hormone that enables glucose to enter the cells, causing blood sugar levels to drop. Therefore, insulin can be likened to a key that unlocks the door for glucose to perform its function. Insulin is essential for our body to use and store glucose. Without it, high blood sugar levels can cause organ damage over time. Let's go back to insulin. Insulin is produced in the pancreas and released in bursts every 5 minutes. Its levels are low when you haven't eaten, but rise when you eat to deal with the sugar in your bloodstream. In a healthy person, insulin returns to its normal state once it has processed the sugar. We're talking about people who have a healthy pancreas. This is different for people with diabetes. Insulin interacts with the hormone glucagon. It signals the liver to release glucose when blood sugar levels are low. The liver can use glycogen or convert protein into glucose through gluconeogenesis. This team regulates blood sugar levels. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we're continuing on. In a recent study, a group of healthy men were given a large amount of pizza and asked to eat until they were full. Surprisingly, they were able to eat twice as much as what made them feel satiated. The participants' blood sugar and insulin levels were closely monitored after consuming the entire volume of pizza. Throughout the meal, the pancreas produced insulin in a linear fashion to regulate blood sugar levels. However, after a certain point, the sugar level plateaued despite the continued consumption of pizza. This plateau persisted from the time the participants ate half of the pizza until the end of the meal. In healthy individuals without diabetes, blood sugar levels are tightly regulated regardless of their diet. Therefore, one may question the purpose of eating healthily if insulin will always compensate for nutritional deficiencies. However, the nuance lies in how certain foods make one feel after consuming them. Although the participants' blood sugar levels remained stable, they experienced lethargy and lack of energy. Physically, they were fine, but they did not feel their best. We discovered that in healthy individuals, consuming carbohydrates does not result in uncontrolled spikes in blood sugar. What about insulin's role in fat storage? Insulin aids in the storage of glucose as glycogen, but it also deposits any excess into fat cells as a long-term backup energy source. This is likely why it has a reputation as a negative fat-storing hormone. As long as there is enough glucose and insulin is functioning properly, there is no real need to break down fat. Fat is broken down faster 2 to 4 hours after a meal when insulin levels are at their lowest. If insulin levels never decrease, fat will theoretically never be broken down. This is not entirely accurate. Metabolic flexibility is a phenomenon that allows for the breakdown of fat. This flexibility allows some individuals to switch from using glucose to fat as fuel. This flexibility is related to insulin sensitivity, body fat percentage, and aerobic fitness level. Good fitness levels can improve insulin sensitivity, helping the body break down fat. However, weight loss is not guaranteed without a caloric deficit. In other words, if you consume more calories than you need, you will still replenish your fat stores, regardless of your blood insulin levels. If someone suggests that you can lose weight by cutting out carbs and eating unlimited calories because carbs raise insulin levels and insulin causes fat storage, it is important to respond. Weight loss is primarily determined by the amount of energy consumed, regardless of the distribution of proteins, fats, and carbs. For instance, in a metabolic chamber study, participants were divided into low-carbohydrate and high-carbohydrate diets and instructed to eat as much as they desired. Despite the high-carb group having significantly higher insulin levels, They consumed significantly fewer calories and lost weight compared to the low-carb group. Long-term studies show that weight loss is virtually the same whether you follow a low-carb or high-carb diet, as long as the caloric intake is the same. We can also look at the other side of the coin by studying insulin and weight loss on a low-carb diet. Additionally, a study found that although a low-carb diet lowers insulin levels, it does not necessarily lead to greater weight loss. In fact, those on a low-fat diet lost more weight than those on a low-carbohydrate diet. Insulin has no discernible effect on weight gain or loss, regardless of whether a person has diabetes or not. Ultimately, calorie intake is the determining factor for weight management. Although a high-carbohydrate diet can raise insulin levels, it does not affect weight in the short or long term. Calories decide everything. Intermittent fasting is often touted as a magical solution for weight loss. This is because it reduces the number of insulin spikes throughout the day and keeps insulin levels low, which can increase metabolic flexibility. However, as discussed in my video on interval fasting, the main reason it may work is that we don't make up for the missed calories when we skip meals. This doesn't mean there is no benefit from fasting. In addition to potentially promoting weight loss through the calorie deficit from skipped meals, fasting can also improve insulin sensitivity. Higher insulin sensitivity allows cells to use glucose more effectively, lowering blood sugar levels. Low insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance can lead to diabetes. To achieve weight loss, focus on choosing foods that keep you feeling full while maintaining a calorie deficit. Don't worry about hormones. Eating a protein and vegetable starter before carbohydrates may help prevent overeating and maintain a healthy calorie intake. Some people believe that it's best to avoid starting a meal with carbohydrates, like meat or vegetables, to allow the stomach to fill up a bit before the carbohydrates cause a glycemic reaction. This idea has some merit. Studies, particularly among diabetics, have shown benefits from this approach. However, you do not need to separate your foods and eat fractionally. Even if you do not start eating from a plate of salad, you will still receive insulin-stabilizing benefits from a mixed meal. Targeted eating may be more beneficial for individuals with insulin resistance or diabetes, but it is not as crucial as more fundamental strategies, such as selecting whole foods over refined foods. In conclusion, insulin does play a role in fat deposition, but it is not a magic weight loss pill. To achieve weight loss, focus on eating a balanced diet of whole foods throughout the day. If you are struggling with overweight or eating habits, you can contact me at the link below. I will help match you with the right nutrition and workouts based on your goals. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Bye.